Hey all, so right here I have my finished Frida Kahlo portrait. So before I start this video, I wanted to tell you that you will really just need green construction paper if you have it, extra piece of thicker watercolor paper if you have it, scrap piece of paper if you have it, and whatever coloring tools that you need. But I used a piece of green construction paper for the background, and then I used some thicker watercolor paper for the leaves, and then I used a scrap piece of paper for the cat. And I also used a glue stick and scissors. So make sure you have those. And let's get started. Hey guys, so what you'll see behind me is I actually have this piece of paper folded. It's a thicker piece of paper. And we're going to use this to continue with our Frida Kahlo project. So I've got my portrait that I've drawn right here, and I'm gonna keep that on my desk for now. And I've got this piece of paper, and I want to use this piece of paper. I might just use this one. I might grab some more. I am going to use it to make some pretty frond leaves that are similar to the frond leaves that we have in the background of that Frida Kahlo painting. And so I'm going to get some markers or whatever I have. I have these markers. These are alcohol-based markers, not like alcohol you use for cleaning. So the thing with these markers is that they won't smear if you use watercolor, whereas water-based markers will kind of smear if you use them and then you use watercolors. And I'm thinking of using watercolors with these. So I am going to use these markers. So right now I'm drawing some big frond leaves. And yeah, I'm using this curved paper, or this folded paper, just because I don't think I'm going to use it for something else. So I'm just using the paper I have around. And I'm drawing all these big frond leaves. Okay? So I've got these big frond leaves. I also have this green piece of construction paper. I'm going to take that. I'm actually going to draw frond leaves on this one too, but I'm going to make it more look like, it's more like a tree, like I've got this frond leaf and then frond leaf here, like maybe I have a big branch. You can always draw little branches coming off your big branch. And I'm not making this super nice or anything. I'm just drawing some frond leaves. Just filling up my page as best I can with these leaves. And I suppose if you wanted, you could draw flowers or something with these. I'm actually going to take some other markers I have, and I'm going to draw like the veins in these leaves, I guess you would call it. And for this, use whatever you have in terms of supplies, because I like to see things that are colorful way more than I like to see things that are just boring without color. I would like you to make your best attempt to make this colorful, so if you do that with colored pencils, that's fabulous. If you do that with markers, that's great. Watercolor, that's great. Really, whatever you have, I just want you to make this colorful. So yes, I'm drawing the veins on these leaves. Take a second to do this. Yeah, and take your time doing this. You can take about 10 minutes even to do this and make sure it looks nice. guess I'll tell you guys my plan for this project while I draw these frond leaves. I'm drawing them with the veins pretty close to each other. I think that ends up looking nice. Just drawing straight diagonal lines down this one side of the leaf. I sort of do a curved line to cut the leaf in half. It doesn't have to be straight. And then I take my marker and I'm just drawing thin, straight or diagonal lines across. And then the diagonals are going in a slightly different direction across the other side of the leaf. Very nice. There we go. I'm liking those actually. This is what my leaves look like so far. They're looking pretty good so far, I think. And since this is a two-part project, I don't really mind taking my time on this because this is what we're doing this week. We're creating this background for our Frida Kahlo portraits, and I would like it to look nice. So I don't really mind spending some time. I'm not spending a huge amount of time, but spending some time with these leaves and kind of just carefully drawing all these lines. I think this is a great thing to do with your afternoon. Just spend some quiet, peaceful time drawing for an art project and listen to some music or something like that. That's something I always enjoy doing, so. And I think I might even take some more time and add some detail to this. I'm gonna draw like a lighter colored stripe inside my leaf, like sort of next to this darker line I drew in here, because I think that looks pretty nice. So I'll bring it up close to you and show you. I did that, and I think I'm gonna do that with my other leaves, and then I will put some darkness in the background, and I'll make a time lapse of that so you don't have to just watch me do it. Okay guys, so now I have these leaves done, and I colored them in with the markers I have, and I just want to say this before we get started with watercoloring our other leaves, which we're going to kind of layer on top of these leaves with a glue stick. So, I'm going to move that out of the way, obviously. So, I realize, as I show you all this stuff, you guys might be thinking, Miss Pistorius, that seems like a lot of work. And you'd be right. It is a lot of work. And there may be other ways to do it, but if you have markers at home, what I say is use them. Use them the best you can. So I've got box of watercolors down here. They're just plain watercolors. And I understand a lot of you might not have watercolors, and that's okay. For making more leaves, you can always use green construction paper, or you can color some leaves green, like I did before, and layer them on top. This brush is not behaving for me. But when I show you guys these projects, I want you to do the best that you can with the resources that you have. So I know I'm talking away from the camera, that's probably not a good thing. So when I'm doing these guys, you don't really have to worry about going over the lines because you're going to cut them out. But I would like you to try to get your sections that you do watercolor, you want to get them pretty green. And how do you do this? I find that kids struggle with this sometimes, where their watercolors are not that thick, or what they call saturated. And saturated means that there's less water and more color. So how do we do that? Well, what we do is we get our paintbrush wet, obviously. We get our paintbrush wet, and then maybe we use the corner of our palette to sort of swipe off some of that wetness, like that. And then we put it in the color, and we really move it around in that color. And with that, you have a nice thick color that you can use to color these in. So I'm going to do this little base coat of my watercolor. And get it nice and well colored. And I'll show it up front, close. Try to get those leaves all filled in and full of color. Nice and dark watercolor, and we can add details to these leaves later with markers or with watercolor, but I am just making sure that they're full of color. I can compare them to my leaves over here. Okay, so now I have those nicely colored. I think I'm going to close my watercolor set. That was just a way to get the color nice and quick. And I'm going to give it some time to dry. Okay? And so I'll give it like 10 minutes to dry. And we'll see where we get. See ya. Okay, I wanted to add another part here. And this part, I'm going to say, is definitely optional because it can be kind of challenging to draw this. So I'm actually just taking a piece of scrap paper, and you can't tell, but on the other side, I messed up. I did a drawing that it didn't look like the way I wanted it to, so I'm going to use that paper for something else. What I'm going to use that for is one of the animals that you see in Frida Kahlo's painting. So you see, in the painting, you see a monkey and like a sort of jaguar type cat. And monkeys are kind of tough to draw. So we are going to give the cat a try. So I'm going to make this cat form really simple. I'm going to draw a cat head, which is just a head with some little cat ears. And then the cat's body is sort of coming over top. And I'm lining up this line, and I'm going to draw some cat feet here. So my cat kind of looks like this, and I'm going to sort of put it in the background of my person drawing. Like I'm going to put this behind one of my person drawings so my cat doesn't have to be great. I could even draw a tail. Yeah. But I am going to look at my cat drawing and think about it in context. Like, because I'm going to cut this out, I guess I could cut it out now. So I'm going to cut out my drawing that I did of myself last week. Being nice and careful with this cutting job. Going around the little corners and being very careful. Remember, with cutting, you can always cut the initial thing out and then go back and cut away any little small things that you didn't want. That is always okay. I'm cutting it mostly in one cut. Ooh, just so I can show you guys. But I will most likely go back. See, I'm going to cut this off. I'm actually going to cut one of these little edges. Cutting that part off made it easier for me to continue cutting. Almost there. So I can see here, if I layer this part over with my cat, I can make it kind of look like it does in the Frida Kahlo painting. So you can see how my cat is kind of on the side of the body. So with that, you know, I could watercolor this cat. I could do really anything with it, but I think I'm just gonna color it actually by hand because I don't want to wait. I don't want to have to wait for this to dry. So I'm going to give my cat green eyes, because a lot of cats have green or yellow eyes. And maybe, sorry, I'm indecisive with this. I don't know what color I want to color my cat eyes. So I'm giving my cat big green eyes. Big green eyes for this kitty. And I'm not going to do his eyes in slits. I'm going to do them more circular. Any of you cat owners out there will know that sometimes cats' eyes are circular and sometimes they're in slits, like on their eyes, kind of like a snake. And really that depends on the kind of mood that the cat is in. So I'm going to do him with some more circular eyes. And then I'll give him a pink nose, and then I'm going to color the rest off screen because I don't want you to have to take the time to watch me color something else because we've been coloring a lot. So giving him a little cat nose, which can just be a triangle really, pink cat nose. And then I'm going to color him. He can be whatever color you want him to be. I think I'm going to do him gray and black because he is gray in the Frida Kahlo painting. Or no, he's not gray. He's black in the Frida Kahlo painting. But yeah, I'm going to do that. We'll come back to it, and then we're going to keep decorating the leaves and cut them out. Yeah. Okay guys, I'm really excited about this part because right now is when we're gonna put it all together. I've got a glue stick right here. I've got all the leaves that I made, and you may notice I watercolored them. I drew on the stripes. I also added a little bit of color to those. I've got my cutout portrait, got my background. Lastly, my little cat. I'm really happy with this little cat actually because I can kind of tuck it into my drawing. So actually that's what I'm going to do. And then I'm going to take my glue stick and I can flip this over and put some glue on this. You can also just tape it, honestly. But I know there's going to be glue going on here. So I'll put some glue there. And then I know that glue is going to go on this front part right here, so I'm going to do that as well. Okay. So, here we go. I'll face this front forward so we can see. Got this little cat, got some glue on it. I'm going to tuck it in with my Frida, so it'll sit right here. Yay! I think that's pretty cute. So I've got my little cat attached now. Now I've got a couple more pieces to do. So, got my little cat. I'm going to put that down. I'm going to take this background drawing I did and the leaves that I made. And they look pretty close in color to the ones that I drew first. And I'm actually just going to put a little glue on the bottom of these and sort of glue them so they go off the edges of the paper. Just like a fun thing for this project. Just to take, you know, you can overlap them with some leaves. And really I'm just putting some glue stick glue on the bottom of these. And throwing them on. Oop. Until I have a very leafy background. And I'm pretty excited about, man, I'm excited about this project. I gotta tell you guys, I think it's gonna be really cute. And now, I can put myself over top of it, and actually that like covers pretty much all the leaves in the background. So if I wanna make it a little bit taller, I could do that too. Oh man, I'm pretty excited about how cute this came out. So I'm gonna flip this over and glue up the background. Put glue stick glue all over that background. All right, lots of glue on that. I'm gonna flip it over and press everything down. Get glue where you missed the glue. I'm gonna miss some glue right here. Make sure you give the glue adequate time to dry before you start sort of picking it up by the leaves or anything like that. That'll just make sure it'll last a little bit longer. But here we have it. I have my finished Frida Kahlo portrait. I'm very pleased with it. I like the way it came out. This project has many parts, so do the best you can. This will probably take more than 45 minutes. This will take a while, depending on how hard you work on it. So here we have it, the leaves, the cat, and my portrait. And like I said before, you don't have to do the cat. I'd like you to do the separate leaves with whatever materials you have. Just use whatever you have, guys. It's all about the effort you put into it. I don't care what materials you use. I just want you to try. Yay! I like this project a lot. So, that's the end. Try this out and send a picture to me when you're done. Bye-bye, guys.